Hello, everyone. Um, Welcome to the second electronic democracy lecture as a part of our webinar series. My name is Eric Brownstein. I'm a Peace Corps volunteer here at the Podolian Agency for Regional Development. So let's get started. Hopefully, there are a few of you here on the line already. The chat window should be open, so if anybody has any questions or is having trouble with the link, please post and let us know. So anyway, hope everyone's having a good evening. Let's get started. So we're going to be talking today about some of the American systems for electronic democracy, electronic governance, citizen participation, etc. So first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Eric Brownstein. I'm a Community and Economic Development Peace Corps volunteer for Ukraine, part of Group 48, for anybody who's interested. I'm placed here in Venetia at the Podolian Agency for Regional Development. I have a bachelor's degree in History and Political Science from Rutgers University, as well as a master's degree in International Relations from American University. So, a little bit more. I spent 7 years in sales and 4 years as an associate professor. I did so in St. Petersburg, teaching public speaking and English. I came to Ukraine 15 months ago, into Venetia a year ago. I'm a huge traveler. You can see my maps online for places I visited, both in the States, around the world. I'm a big foodie. I love sports, and I do jujitsu when I'm not working 10 to 12 hours a day with my colleague, Sophia, who organized this. So why don't we jump right in and get started? So what are we going to talk about? Well, the first thing I want to discuss is the Open Government Initiative that's taking place in the States. It's where a lot of the participatory e-democracy stuff is really focused on today, a lot of it through the Obama administration and some of the things that they have developed. Some of those things being Project Open Data, We the People, the very popular online petition site, challenge.gov, which some of you may or may not know about, and U.S. Office of Government Ethics. I hope we'll have time to get to that, depending on how quick or slow this goes. We will either have time or we won't. Either way, it'll be in the presentation if anybody wants to request it. So first, the Open Government Initiative. The link is here on the screen. We'll go to it in just a couple of minutes. Just to introduce it, it's a site where kind of everything that the government is doing from an e-participation standpoint, electronic governance, is kind of centrally located. E-petitions, open data, open government blog, and the challenge sites were all created through and under this program. It's really designed to promote citizen participation in government and to make government more open and accessible to people who are interested in accessing it. It does give complete data sets, which are publicly available, easily downloaded through the link that's on the screen here, which makes it very easy for citizens, NGOs, really anybody who's interested to go on, download the data, and dissect it as they see fit and to fit their needs. And the initiative isn't a very small one. It was really designed to get as much information as possible out there. As you can see, it covers health, energy, climate, education, finance, public safety, and global development, and that's just for now. And all of these are very, very large organizations, very large sets of data are all included here. So what we're going to do is kind of quickly jump over to the website. So here we are on the Open Government website. So you can read the quote from Obama. It was one of his big pushes to make access to government information more convenient, and that's really shown through in this site. So you can see the link to We the People, which we'll talk about later. Joining the Conversation, which is the blog site and government group. Data and challenge. So kind of everything that we're going to be talking about is available here. There's live tweets, that come down this list, in terms of massive responses to different activities of the government. You can see the FOIA tweet, Freedom of Information Act, and public disclosure policies, which are all very, very popular. And clear links to what is open government, the blog, open government partnerships, and then even modes for collaboration. And of course, this is just one page on the larger government website, which is this up here. So we're zooming along here faster than anticipated, but that's all right, because we're going to get into some really good stuff now as we move into some of the nuts and bolts, detail, actual participatory sites within this initiative. So the first that we're going to talk about is Project Open Data. So what it is an attempt to take advantage of the entrepreneurial spirit that is very popular throughout the United States and kind of has been throughout our history. It's an online public repository for collaboration and the continual improvement of open data policy. It's the best way for people to get involved and understand truly what is involved with open data and ways to improve it. It's designed for anyone, really, to get online and take advantage of it. Federal agencies, state and local governments, private citizens, NGOs, anyone can get on and use all of these tools, especially since it's an open source platform. The website it's published on is GitHub. So again, open source, you're able to really get on there and play around with the project open data. So one of the things that we'll do is jump onto the Project Open Data. This is the blog site. Excuse me. So here you have full access to everything revolving around the open data platform and its processes. First, what the policies are, the executive order that launched it, and if we go to GitHub, which is presented through here, quickly opening up this page, right? So we get into a lot of the open source activities and stuff. Now, I'm not registered for this, so I haven't jumped into the projects themselves, but really the whole site is created for anyone to be able to get on and easily use all of the processes. For those familiar with open source technologies and data, which, truth be told, I really am not, but many people are, and it's really, really easy to use in terms of open source stuff, making changes. It's the basis of course, Android. So, and everyone I'm sure is aware of how many applications and processes, et cetera, are available on Android. So it's the same kind of prospect and ideas as that. So lots of contributions. Of course, collaboration, which is another aspect of this site, is a huge part of it. Obviously, we get more accomplished working together, which is a key central tenet of electronic democracy, which really brings to a lot of the benefits of a site like this. And as you can see, large organizations, NASA, Google, have really been, Facebook have really been involved, Microsoft. So it's a very popular site, a very easy to use site, and one that really promotes collaboration and access to new and exciting data, new and exciting modules, etc. So I encourage you to check out the site if it's something that you're interested in. So again, the open data is all on here. How it works, so there's contributions. It's definitely designed to be as collaborative as possible. It's managed by the OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, Science and Technology. So as you can see, there's a lot of different groups. It's regularly checked, regularly updated, and all of the new information and projects that are created on here, aren't just created and ignored. They're actually frequently used. So that's the project open data. So up next is something that I'm sure everyone is very familiar with. It's the We the People website. It's a concept that has been used around the world, including here in Ukraine, though maybe not to the same extent as through the U.S. government, through the White House. So it is a petitions website. Anyone can create a petition. Anyone can sign a petition. I myself have signed a few. The government posts them after 150 signatures. So you're required yourself to begin the process. It's not just I create one myself and all of a sudden it's posted on the website. You have to have your own level of support, which really encourages people to not just post and forget, but to actively go out and search for people who are in agreement with them. But once it is put on the website, it has time given to search for people who agree with the particular topic. And we'll jump on the website in just a second and look at a bunch of these different petitions and kind of what's incorporated and included with them. So at 100,000 signatures, the website requires a governmental response. Now, it's supposed to be within 60 days to get an official White House response from the website. They may have underestimated the amount of petitions that have actually been submitted on this website, but the White House says that they'll get it responded to as quickly as possible, but the goal is 60 days for a response to everyone who signed up and registered on the petition. Now, I have received updates when I've signed some of these petitions, and you actually do get the updates. It's sent to everyone, and it's not only the submission of the the petitions as well, and potentially just a blah response. Thank you for your petition. We've gotten it, but they forward that along to different policy folks. That is the direct from the governmental website, to different people across the government, those who might be in the best place to deal with and respond to the different type of petition, and what the petition is. So jumping over to the website, so you see you have to create a petition, sign a petition. You don't have to sign in to sign a petition, which is pretty nice. So the first step, right, and there are many potential things on here. So appoint Garland now, has already received, as you can see, 172,000 signatures. But let's take one. For example, not getting into political stuff. Again, not getting into political stuff. So, for example, this one's I guess, fun one. So, for example, we have a next major U.S. Navy ship should be named the Deplorables. Again, Peace Corps is an apolitical organization, and so I wanted to make sure that I steer clear of any of the potentially politically sensitive topics. But so again, you can see signing the petition, how many signatures it needs, and when it needs them by. So there are deadlines to these petitions. They can't just sit in perpetuity until the end of time. So to honor those citizens who rose up to defend America and the Constitution from the globalists, unfortunately this one doesn't have a whole lot of information in it. But let's see. So protect whales from harmful noise pollution. So you'll see here that it's a little bit more detailed. Some of these are longer, some of them are shorter. This has only received, as you can see, about 3,200 signatures, so still needing 96,803 to go. But as you can see, these petitions tend to range across a very, very wide array of topics, and can range from anything from incredibly political topics to non-political topics in their entirety. So it's really great in terms of needing to have your support and to know people who really do support what you're looking to do, but then to be able to reach out and connect with people all across the country. So a little bit more on how it works in terms of creating your petition. So you pick tags, etc., etc. So you have 30 days to gather the 100,000 signatures, which are required for your response. And again, it is closed unless people search for it specifically, which is important to do. You have to get your first 150 signatures. So it will be posted on the site, but invisible until you reach that 150 signature threshold. Because again, it's incredibly important not to just post a random idea and hope that there are people who are excited, but to kind of have an understanding of people who are around you and to understand what people are looking for and what kind of people agree, what people agree with you, excuse me, not what kind, but finding people who agree with you, and then it allows you to make the petition public. So again, it's reviewed by the White House. Others can sign the petition while it's waiting a response. So if you do pass the 100,000 threshold, as you've seen some of the petitions already have, you're able to jump online and to kind of get additional signatures as the White House responds. So again, the White House tries to be under the 60-day window, which if it doesn't happen, they do try and get it done as quickly as possible. But in that interim, you can search for more people who would sign on to support your site or your petition, excuse me. So just looking at a couple of others, you get to go on, and it's kind of sorted here, as you can see, by the number of people who have signed. So let's look at one that has achieved the necessary votes. Let's go to this one. Again, trying to avoid politically sensitive topics. But as you can see, this one's a little longer. Talking about a specifically one specific case. But as you can see, this closed a week ago. So it received its necessary signatures. It's over by 15,192. but it's still open for people to sign on since it hasn't been responded to yet. So which is something that, allows kind of people to continue working on and getting involved with popular petitions for those who are interested in that. But so you can go on talking about updates for many of these petitions. There's tons and tons and tons of them. I know Ukraine has one, and I'm sure in a later webinar you'll see that, and you'll have an opportunity to discuss it. So it's a pretty straightforward site in terms of the We the People site and the e-petition site, but it's something that does allow people to get together, to communicate, to share information, and really try and find others who share their particular beliefs as it relates to specific topics. Jumping ahead, challenge.gov, and this is something that I was not particularly familiar with, before I started working on electronic democracy stuff. Challenge.gov is a really, really interesting government site in that it searches for people to help solve governmental problems in terms of any number of things. So it's a list of challenge and prize competitions, leaving open the opportunity for citizens to get involved to solve problems facing the government, but to do so in a manner that does provide them with some kind of financial or other compensation. It's not just a White House initiative. It's operated by more than 100 agencies across the federal government who all take part in this challenge. It's a very cool site. Federal agencies have offered more than $250 million in prize money, along with other prizes and valuables. 250,000 people have participated in over 180 congressional districts. More than 5 million people have visited the site, including people from all over the world and every state in the United States. So you're talking about a site that's not only promoting participation within the United States, but seeking out the best and brightest all over the world in order to solve many of these problems. And in just a second, we'll jump over to the site itself. But when you talk about these events, they're not just, again, scientific, but scientific, technical, creative, and simply idea-based challenges, which is great as, again, it gets people participating and gets people involved within the process. It's a fantastic opportunity to not only get involved in that way, but also to potentially make a little bit of money while you're getting your ideas brought to life and published. So let's jump over to the challenge page, and I'm actually pretty excited to show you some of these things that that everything does. So let's jump into, for example, this one's pretty interesting. The Bureau of Reclamation, open until March 13, 2017, awarding $50,000 in prizes to help improve arsenic sensing in water. So again, something that directly influences people from a health standpoint. So jumping right in, just waiting for the site to load. So it's ideas, right? This is our category. Partnering with the USAID and Xylem Inc. So you have an opportunity to deal with not only governmental organizations, but also potentially private business. So the EPA, in the Indian Health Service, National Institute for Standards of Technology, U.S. Geological Survey, Agricultural Research Service. So as you can see, sort of measuring arsenic in the environment and in drinking water, right? Protecting human health, yada, yada, yada. So $50,000 in prize money are awarded to the winners, and it comes with a very interesting video. So I'm going to take, since we're running a little bit ahead, I'm going to take a couple of minutes and go through this video to show you. So I'm being told that you can see the video, but can't necessarily hear it. Okay. Anyway, so apologies. I was just informed that people couldn't actually hear the video. But it is a video outlining what the challenges are, at least up to this point. The challenges are of arsenic and what people are, looking to do in order to, what people need to do in order to solve this problem. And this is a grand problem in terms of arsenic being an issue in water sources worldwide, but it's a problem that directly affects the health of even potentially very small groups of people, across not only the States, but across the world. So you can visit the particular page to learn more. So as you see, there's multiple stages. When it was launched. So, for example, stage 1 is a theoretical challenge requiring a white paper submittal with a purse of $50,000. So, again, this is a multi-stage process where there is the potential to win a substantial amount of money. Stage 2, reduction to practice challenge, submitting a working prototype and putting their ideas in practice can net you a winning prize of $250K. Again, not an insubstantial amount of money. So what you're looking at, and again, working with private industry, the Indian Health Service, National Institute of Standards and Technology, USAID, you're getting the opportunity to work on really interesting projects and getting into specifics about the projects themselves. Now, again, stage 1 is really the theoretical aspect. I am not at all familiar with this type of technology, so I couldn't possibly offer, advice into what this type of theoretical process would include. But you're talking about very interesting, very specific projects that are not only technology-based, to where people who aren't technology savvy can participate, but you're talking about several different types of challenges. So let's jump into, here we go. My organization is heavily involved in hackathons. It's a very popular theme across Ukraine, at least what I've seen within my organization. So a Grace Hopper Day hackathon. So what you're talking about is, we'll jump in and talk and see it in more detail. But a hackathon in order to redesign the GSA developer portal. So as you can see, you can register the event locations. So going to do the hackathon at the National Archives and Record Administration Innovation Hub in Washington, D.C. So let's just scroll down a little bit. Lots of details. So the GSA may award prizes of no more than $1,000 to each member of the winning team. 3 total potential winning teams. So you're talking about, an opportunity for people to come in and do a hackathon, as well as get acquainted with government offices, meet some government employees, and to really get involved with doing something that's interesting, especially for software programmers. The final source should be an open code submitted as a pull request to the GitHub repository. So there's our GitHub again, with our open solutions, our open source codes being available to all. And since, again, collective is that the author of the source code can't collect royalties. So this is again, a collaborative effort to, yes, you can win some money in this particular event, but it's designed to be something that's open, something to really support collaboration, which is one of the key features that we've seen across the process. So again, you're talking about some very, very different topics from very, very different things, from testing water to hackathons. Hoping to open one up here with a different type of prize. And as you can see, there's tons and tons and tons of these opportunities, more than 50 pages. So jumping ahead to, for example, here we go, Congressional App Challenge. So you can view the prize list. A Congressional Coding Challenge for U.S. high school students for the House of Representatives. So again, a very interesting, Rep. Nadler running this. But what you see is an opportunity to not only engage, elder, but to specifically target youth. So checking eligibility, must be 13 years of age, registering, site contact, create, and unfortunately nothing here on the, might have scrolled a little too quickly on the prizes. So the best app, the winner of the best app will be recognized and honored by their member of Congress. They'll have their app displayed on the Congressional App Challenge website, and winners will also have their apps exhibited on a digital display in the Capitol building for the year following the conclusion of the challenge. So you're not necessarily talking about a financial award, but certainly a great deal of exposure for, in this case, a younger American. So challenge details. So when you see solutions, you have the different solutions that are available here. So let's look at polyteens very quickly, which is another nice thing about the site, is that you can see some of these solutions and you can follow specific sites. So I'm not going to go into all of the details, but as you can see, images of the codes that the people would be taking part in. You can see all of the coding history here for this particular screenshot. And then some more code specifically about how this site would be used, and is done through by youth. So as you can see, a whole bunch of screenshots here, access to different politicians, what they think, where they stand on particular issues, etc. So here's a video on it, for everyone to, if you're interested in taking a look, definitely search through this site. There's a ton of interesting things to do. So looking at the prize wire. So this one, company finds validation, new partners, and hearing loss challenge. Again, a problem on here, again, linking, many different types of organizations. So disability among veterans, 20 million workers are exposed to noise levels that affect their, their hearing. U.S. Department of Labor ran the Here and Now Noise Safety Challenge. And then here's our winner, EERS, company that won first place. He is the Nicola Laperli, hearing evangelist at EERS. The company won the first prize in the competition. And now EERS is working closely with the government and even other competitors from the challenge to work towards a common goal of eliminating noise-induced hearing loss in the workplace. And here's his photo, some information about his company. They've obviously been involved with other awards, but you can get an understanding of, it's a little bit of good publicity, but as well, you can get to see what some of these winners are like, and who has won different things. The How It Works tab, as you can see over here, again, registering people, you can see the agencies, that are involved. There's a 30-minute webinar, which I won't be playing today, though that would have eaten up just a ton of time. And then emailing the site to create your account. Very easy to do, very simple. You can search for agencies, and then there's login information, contacts, challenge. So just going back to challenges, as you can see, they range across, more water, less concentrate, wearable alcohol biosensor, EdSim challenge, next-gen educational simulations. You're talking about very, very, detailed and variety of different types. Even counter-manned aerial systems, hard kill challenge. So these are really kind of open to everyone. Getting on here and searching through and really opening this kind of thing up to try and get access to the best and brightest that your country has to offer, as well as solving problems and promoting a kind of sense of community, is really one of the major foundations of participatory practices, electronic democracy, etc. So, really look into things like this. It's an excellent, excellent site. I highly encourage anybody who's interested to jump on it. And if it's something that you think would be beneficial, certainly look at duplicating something like that. Of course, they have a Twitter account, challenge.gov, so you can get lots of fantastic information from them, Facebook, Twitter, etc. So we'll jump back in. I want to get into one last office, which is a very cool office, I think. The United States Office of Government Ethics. Rare to say for, I guess, for a government office that it sounds cool. But what this office does in terms of electronic systems, in terms of sharing of information and sharing of data, is incredibly helpful, and is something that could be duplicated across a wide variety of applications. So it was established by the Ethics of Government Act in 1978. It's designed to prevent and resolve conflicts of interest, especially amongst the executive branch, not just with Congress, but with multiple legislative agencies. Works with ethics practitioners in more than 130 agencies. It's a corruption prevention organization. And it does work directly and within multilateral processes with foreign governments to take the best practices that they've developed and put them to good use, not just in the United States, but abroad as well. So what do they do? So they promulgates from their website, but spread and maintain enforceable standards of ethical conduct. Enforceable standards are the key words here. Many times we see standards laid out that are just not viable, not feasible, or are so low that they're unenforceable, or not worth enforcing. They work with more than 2.7 million civilian employees and over 130 executive branch agencies, and the White House as well. They oversee more than 27,000 public employees and more than 370,000 confidential financial disclosure report filters. So you're looking for major conflict of interest locations, and that is done through a lot of the required financial disclosure reports that not all, but a substantial number of government employees are required to follow or to submit every year. Provides ongoing education and training to more than 5,500 ethics officials. Conducts outreach to the general public, the private sector, and civil society. And provides technical assistance to state, local, and foreign governments and international organizations. So it's an organization that's specifically built to combat conflict of interest. Now, I know you're probably wondering, Eric, this is a electronic democracy seminar. Why in God's name are you talking about this agency? Well, what I want to do now is jump over to their website. So they give you a ton of information on their website and different types of things that you can access. So when you go on to their website, they really do publish a lot of information. So final rules regarding subpart B, which is probably a little difficult. But here you have their open government initiative, travel reports, ethics program questionnaires, program review, candidate records, and presidential appointee and nominee records. Again, sharing of information and conflict of interests issues are typically some of the issues that most politicians will try to hide as much as possible. Not a comment on any particular politician or country of politicians, but it is something that is potentially very dangerous for governments to be involved in. They also allow you to report misconduct, both within all of the branches, state and local governments, legislative, judicial, executive. And going on to the link, you'll find links to the agencies that handle complaints. And so they do not handle complaints of misconduct, nor do they have investigative authority. But they do have all of the links, and they are closely associated with all of these different organizations where they will encourage you to where you can go to submit your complaints. It can be a bit of a wandering in the wilderness to try and find, well, I have this issue, where do I even go to deal with this issue? Well, they have all of the information for you right here, and this is getting very, very important information out to everyone to make it easy to do what needs to be done. If there's something that you need to do, there's issues that you need to talk about. It gives you the context of where to go to get that in one easy place. So they also tell you more about what the topic deals with: criminal and civil, executive orders, administrative. So really they go into what the laws are. Again, not dealing with hidden features, hidden things that make it difficult for citizens, etc., to find the information that they need, instead making it open and available to all who are interested. And you can go into, for example, gifts and payments, and and as we go into the site, you're able to get specific information on what constitutes what. So if you're dealing with something that you think may be a violation, you're able to go on and get specific information. So outside pay for government duties, outside income, bribery, they go into detail for all of them. They go into financial disclosures, advisories, program management, education, the whole nine. This is a very comprehensive website. It takes quite a bit to get into, but there is a lot. Presidential transition. So if you're interested in what a presidential transition means and what's involved, it's all there. They also have their feeds, latest advisories, notification reminders. They publish news releases, so everything's available through the archives as well as we dig a little deeper into the site. So by all means, jump on. It's something that's very interesting. There's an international resources tab over here where you can access for any Ukrainians who are interested in more about this site and how it could possibly relate to Ukraine. They do have documents in Russian, which many Ukrainians read in Russian, but it is available for people. Papers, speeches, the whole nine. It is available for everyone through this international resources page. So I'm glad we had time to cover that. I'm not sure if there are any questions. Jump onto the YouTube page, see if my link pulls it up. So at the moment, I'm not seeing any questions, but maybe one of my two colleagues in the room can show me their computer. Okay, so one question. How can we increase the e-democracy level? And how do you think American instruments could be used in everyday life? So as a Peace Corps volunteer, it's not really a question that I can answer in terms of increasing the e-democracy level in the country. In my experience, it's really been it's really Ukrainians that most know how to deal with the issues that are facing their country and how to really maximize the tools that are out there. Really the best thing that I can say right now is merely a sharing of information to promote these different concepts among Ukrainians so that they're aware of some of the issues that, or some of the features that are available to them. But in terms of which are the best and how to properly implement them for them to be the most effective within the country, that's not really my my place to say. Next question, how to engage people in e-democracy processes. So really the best way to engage people is to make sure that people know what their options are. So how is it that they can be involved in e-democracy? Well, the first step is telling them what's there. It's hard to be involved with something when you don't know that it's there for you to actually use it. So, information campaigns, spreading of information, teaching people to use the tools that are available to them is really a good first step in any kind of program or process because, again, just knowing how to use something is the first step, or knowing that something exists and then knowing the basics of how to use it is really what can make something really effective. So hopefully that that answers that question. I'm not sure, but so I don't know. Does anybody have any other questions that I might be able to answer while I'm here? So looks like no. I left a little bit more time for questions, hoping that people would be involved. But if there are no other questions, I hope that everyone enjoyed the presentation. I hope that it was helpful. I hope it was useful. If you have any questions, I'm available through PARD's eDemocracy website. You're free to contact me there. If you want to ask any questions offline, I'll be happy to answer them. So long and short of it, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Again, I hope you found it useful, and have a good evening.